Welcome to episode 2 of this Honda NSR 125. I did look at my parts stash and I found this gasket. This gasket has a steel outer ring and a copper inner baffles, and this compresses down to the face of the cylinder and the flange on the exhaust manifold. So this is what I think is missing on that Honda, but we'll see. So let's get into that bike and we'll see what we are missing, why it's so loud, and maybe if we can run it today around the property here. And we'll see. In the previous episode, we managed to get this thing started. We cleaned the carburetor, we hooked a temporary fuel source to it, and we ran it for a couple of seconds. These bikes are two-stroke bikes, and as you can see, they generate a lot of smoke. That means I will have to look into that exhaust leak, and then we will shove it outside so we can smoke a bit more there, and I'm not gonna suffocate here. So to pull this right fairing off, we have 1 bolt, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and there should be a couple bolts down there, but those are missing. Without further ado, let's get this fairing off and we'll see what's hiding underneath. Okay, so we have those Torx bolts. One down. This one. Is on the ground, and this I just put in finger tight. And now here we have our fairing. Let's put that aside. And here we can take a better look at this setup here. Underneath this cover there should be an oil master. That's a device injects the oil from the oil tank that has been deleted on this machine and injects it down into the carburetor. So this system was deleted on this thing, and through this little gap you cannot, but I can see the power valve. Yeah, I would definitely say that this is missing that gasket that we brought. So let me get the other fairing off because that way I will not damage them, and then take off that exhaust pipe, stick that gasket in, and refill the coolant because I think this thing is a little bit low. Put back the gas tank. I will try to use this vintage gas. I might regret it, we'll see, but this thing consumes a little bit of gas, so the funnel will get us nowhere. So we have to hook some fuel source, some little bit less temporary fuel source, and I don't want to flush this tank and put in our two-stroke makes and then having to do that again. So let me pull this fairing and we'll proceed. Here, that thing with those two cables running to it, that's that power valve I talked about. And here we have our manifold that's held on with two 13 millimeter nuts. So I will zap those off, and you can see all the running gasoline down the engine. This is the gasoline that should be pushed back into the cylinder by this expansion chamber, but due to that leak, that's not happening. We also missing the bolt that should bolt this thing to the frame, and as I can see, somebody removed the baffles from this exhaust. As you can see, this is how the original crimp or the weld should look like, and this is how they done it. This is a fairly good job. I've seen worse than this. So I'm not gonna film the process of dismantling this. So let's check if we have any gaskets underneath or not. As I have thought, no gasket. So let's put one in. And this is with the gasket. We have to fish it in into this chamber. We can also check the piston from here. So if you have a two-stroke motor, pull the exhaust down and you can check your piston. The exhaust side is usually the one most damaged. If you use a proper oil and you clean your air filter, the intake side's usually pretty fine, but the exhaust is what usually binds in these Hondas. So you can check it by unbolting the fairings and removing your exhaust. So let me get this bolted back on, and then we'll start it up to see if we have any changes in the sound. Okay, so we've got that gasket installed. So let's see how this thing is gonna start. Let's put the choke on, and like this. It starts much better than without that shim, without that gasket. Let's see if we can. Now it wants to choke a little bit more. As you can see, even with the choke on, this thing smokes much less than without that gasket. Also, it's much quieter, as you can see. So let's. You can see it idles down nicely, and that gasket really made a difference. On this example, you can see how the exhaust, the modern exhaust, I should say, on the modern two-strokes can really help with the performance of the engine, because all the two-strokes used just straight pipe out. Then they learned that if they made an expansion chamber on the exhaust, the back pressure pushes the gasoline that leaked through the exhaust exhaust port, when it was cycled through the crankcase up, the back pressure pushes that gasoline back inside the cylinder, and it helps with the performance and fuel economy. So let's go make a mistake. Let's go put that tank on. I know I should not do this, but I will do this because as I said, I want to test this, and this is the easiest way to test this thing. First, let me check that coolant and refill it a bit. I can see that we push some coolant. I will start it up just a quick here, and we'll see if we can see some coolant flow here. Yeah, I can see some coolant in there. So it's probably fine. I will refill it a bit, but it's probably fine. So while that thing is running outside, warming up, I will try to set up a chest ring that I will put on my rib cage. I'll hope I can get some shots of me driving this thing. So let's get set up, let it warm up. It's running on that gasoline that has been in the tank for, I don't know, 3 years, 2 years, maybe at least 2 years. So we'll see how it goes. I also didn't put in the air cleaner because the grommet, where is she? Where it is? I don't see it right now, but somewhere here it is. And that grommet, here it is. It's complete rock, so I couldn't get it to budge. So let's get it warm up and let's test drive it. I hope you will see something from this. Oh, the clutch. that gave me a bit of hard time because I forgot that the guy was old school. As I said, he was 70 years old. So he reversed the shift pattern. Usually, usually you step down and you have first gear, and the rest is up. And on this thing, he had this thing reversed. So the first gear is up and the rest is down. I'm not used to that stuff. It was pretty common on the really old things like 1940s and up to 70s. Yeah, maybe even the 90s here in the Czech Republic, because the the communist stuff was all the same from the 50s to the 90s. No upgrades. So it ran fine without an air cleaner on old crappy gas. I had to use to get used to that reversed shift pattern. As you can saw, I over revved it a couple times as I shifted not into the higher gear but into the lower gear. So let's get it back in the shop, and let's close this video up. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap this Honda NSR up. I had really fun times with this thing. It's shame that I'm in the financial situation that I am, because if I haven't bought that piece of land there, I should have kept this one. We have to part it out. Unfortunately, I have to make money to survive the end of the motorcycle season, because I haven't sold any part for like 3 days. So I have to part this thing out to make some money to be able to pay the bills and keep the lights up. We don't have any lights in here, but you know. That shift pattern gave me a hard time, but other than that, this bike is pretty nice. They are very rare to find in original shape. So one day we will buy one of these in original shape, and we will give it a makeover. But it's not, unfortunately, be this one. So thanks for watching. If you liked this episode or the previous one, please consider subscribing, share it with your friends. It really will help my channel to grow. As I said, I wanted to start this channel to first document my journey, and second to share some thoughts with other people. So feel free to comment down in the comment section anything. So thanks for watching. Bye.